Becoming an adult is,
Adulting.
adulting has so many responsibilities, and you have to start thinking about things that really affect your finances. As really, money is the basis of everything you're going to have to do as an adult. It's our Money Matters feature, and today we're speaking about the formal credit reputation. Others might know it as the credit score, and in modern Africa, it's no longer just a background financial detail. It's also a gatekeeper to opportunities. This formal credit reputation is a record of credit worthiness that's built by interacting with licensed financial institutions. And it's established through your consistently, your timely repayments, and it's also used to determine your eligibility for lower interest rates and higher loan amounts. So these are the things that you'll need if you want a house, a car, a business, or any way else that you want to improve your own life. And a person's borrowing history, repayment behavior, and outstanding debt now form a measurable profile that can either unlock access or quietly shut it down. We're trying to look at how this formal credit reputation or credit score operates in modern African economies. What builds it? What makes it higher? What makes the number go up? What makes the number go down? And when you understand it better, it can actually really be critical to your financial progress. Helping us understand this is Jean Archery, who's a certified financial planner, joining us on the line. Jean, thank you so much for your time. Hey man, it seems like just a number, but it's more than just a number, isn't it?
100%. And good morning to you, Benjamin, as well as the SABC Channel Africa listeners.
Hey, thank you.
I think a lot of us don't understand the value that our credit scores play, and, obviously in terms of unlocking those financial opportunities, but it can also shut those doors, as Palesa mentioned. But I think one of the things that a lot of people are not aware of is that, when it comes to your credit score, it's not something that's stagnant, first of all. It is something that you can build and that you can grow, and that can change at any time. But it also plays a role in certain industries when it comes to employment conditions and seeking career opportunities. So I think that is also something that consumers need to be aware of, that it doesn't only make credit more accessible, but it can also unlock those financial opportunities in terms of career opportunities.
So, can you help us understand what are the different compositions that make a credit score healthy?
Okay, so there's obviously very different behaviors that you can apply to increase and grow your credit score, but most credit bureaus use 5 specific criteria when calculating your score. So the first, and this is something that counts the most, is your payment history. Most credit bureaus use a calculation of about 50%. So 50% of your payment behavior is used to calculate or always contributed towards the calculation of that score. The next factors that are used to calculate your score is the duration of your credit history. So how long you've had credit or you've been using credit for, the duration of your credit history, the length of your credit history. They also look at your new credit applications, how much of your credit you are using, and the different types of credit that you are using. So generally, those 5 factors are used to calculate your score. But generally, the idea is the higher your score, the more risk or less risk you pose to when it comes to lending. So the higher your score, the better opportunities and terms and conditions and ability you have to negotiate.
Also, why does it matter? I mean, you are saying that you have room to negotiate, that's room to get credit facilities, and a lot of people say, well, isn't credit bad anyway? Why should I be going out of my way to get credit? Let's bring it back down to like its practical terms. Why is it so important for any of us, if you're an adult in today's economies, in today's society, to have a healthy credit reputation?
So, and I think, especially when you're starting off in your career, and a lot of consumers in Africa, across Africa, are not in a position where they can buy your bigger ticket items using cash. So a lot of the times when we have a goal or a dream that we want to fund, we don't have access to available cash to be able to do that. So if you look at things like I want to buy a car, I've just started working at my independence, and mobility is going to be important in terms of getting me to my job. Family, and I want to buy or purchase a home, or want to extend my current home. So obviously a lot of Africans do not have access to available cash reserves to be able to fund those purchases. So obviously then we become reliant on credit. Now, I think what a lot of consumers tend to do is that they only look at their credit score. They only pay attention to their credit score when they are looking to apply for credit. And I think the minute you turn 18, specifically within South Africa, when you become an adult, you need to start looking at building your credit history, and that there's a right way of doing it and a wrong way of doing it. And I think, the mistake that a lot of first-time credit users make is that when they start working and earning an income, they apply for credit, they overuse on their credit, they don't apply the smart behaviors, that then drops their credit score. And then, assessing credit in the future becomes a little bit more costly or a little bit more difficult. So, my partnership with one of the leading credit bureaus in South Africa, which is XDS, I've partnered with them on their credit platform, consumer credit platform, which is called Splendy, to help educate consumers on how to apply smart credit behaviors, how to improve their credit scores, how to understand the calculation and what factors are contribute towards the calculation of their credit score. Because I think, there's a lot of ignorance, there's a lot of lack of education around the importance of a credit score in terms of unlocking those financial opportunities. So I think, that this collaboration has been amazing because, it's only through this collaboration and partnership that I myself, having worked in the financial wellness space, actually now fully understand how it actually affects consumers on a much broader and deeper level.
Okay, we're going to be speaking about that after the break, because I think we need to unpack more around the relationship of a credit history and your credit reputation. Because people think credit history means you just accumulate debts or you open accounts everywhere so that you have that visibility in the system. But is it more than that? We'll find out from our guest. What do you think about this idea of credit reputation? Let us know on our WhatsApp number. We're speaking to Jean Archery, who is a certified financial planner, helping us on our Money Matters feature today.
Download the SABC app and take Channel Africa with you everywhere you go.
All Scholar transport operators are required to comply with the following mandatory requirements. All required licenses and certificates must be renewed annually for minibus taxis and biannually for buses in accordance with applicable regulations. Overloaded, unroadworthy, or unlicensed vehicles will be impounded without exception. Every vehicle must be equipped with an appropriate and fully stocked first aid kit at all times. Routine safety inspections are compulsory for all vehicles providing Scholar transport services. Compliance with these requirements is non-negotiable and is enforced to safeguard the lives of learners and all road users. Issued by the National Department of Transport.
Get set and be ready to go. On the move with Palisatawo and Benjamin Mushatama.
Our favorite money girl is with us, Jean Archery, certified financial planner, always giving us practical advice on our money matters. I think it's the first time we're speaking to her this year, so it's very nice having her back on the show. You spoke a little bit, Jean, around the issue of credit history. For a very long time, because I didn't have any accounts at a clothing retail shop, my mother used to say, hey man, you must get a little bit of a credit history. And I'm like, no, not yet. I'm not ready for that. But because we have a very basic understanding of credit history, we think it's just around settling accounts and getting accounts everywhere so you can settle them well, just for you to have that history. Is it that, or is there more to it?
I think, again, it goes back to education. So I've got a 17, about to turn 18 in the next few months. And, the importance of building that credit history from the day she turns 18. So there's obviously, and a lot of parents are not aware that this is what needs to be done when their children turn 18. And it's not about applying for credit only when you need it, because remember, one of the factors that is used to calculate your credit score is the length of your credit history. So even as an 18-year-old, you might not need to purchase a vehicle right now, or you might not want to buy a home. So, that might only happen in 5 years from now. But I think the important thing is to show lenders that you are trustworthy, you're responsible with managing credit. So it is important to start off small, and again, as an 18-year-old, parents need to take their kids to get a retail store credit card, or a credit card, or a retail store card. And even if it's just a small amount that they can learn to manage wisely, because I think the problem that most consumers make is that the minute credit becomes easily available, then they start applying for more and more credit, and that's how they end up falling into this debt trap. So it is extremely important to show that you are responsible in terms of managing one small credit facility from the start, and then to build on it. So once you feel comfortable managing the first amount that you've been given, then start going and applying for a different form of credit, because remember, your credit mix is also important, so the different types of credit that you use. So I think that would be a key starting point for a lot of young people. Another thing that you did also mention before we went on the break is, if you don't have a credit history, how do you go about building that credit history? And a lot of people don't understand or are not aware that even if you've never used credit before, it is important to go and register on a credit platform, credit reporting platform, so you can actually see if there is any information that is being stored. Because remember, other people may have fraudulently opened accounts in your name, and you will never know unless you actually check your credit report. So whether you've used credit or not, that is also an important thing to look at.
Jean, on the African continent, we have a very, very big informal economy. And in the countries with large informal economies, how does that formal credit system treat people who've never borrowed from a bank before? Because, there are people who don't use those systems, especially for their small businesses in that informal sense. Are they automatically disadvantaged in the economy?
I wouldn't say they're disadvantaged. I would say that they're probably invisible. So maybe they have used some sort of credit, but not through a formal provider. So they may still be paying their rent. They may still have borrowed money from informal lenders. The problem is when you want to start borrowing money through a formal provider, they have no means of assessing you. Now, I know there are some companies out there, and I can't recall the names of the companies, but they are using alternative credit scoring or risk scoring assessments to be able to decide or assess whether a lender is trustworthy or not. So I think in instances like that, I think it is also important that we start educating consumers that are using informal lending facilities to start opening up bank accounts, to start, starting small by assessing some small credit facility so that they can start to prove to the formal lenders that they are responsibly managing their credit.
There are those people who are saying, yo, Jean, I wish you spoke to me 5 years ago because I'm in trouble. I don't have a good credit reputation. And they're asking, how long does this bad reputation last for?
Yeah, so again, it depends on how bad those credit records are. So some defaults, payments, defaults, collections could stay on your record for 2 to 5 years. Also, obviously, if you are in debt review, that is also quite a process. Your credit score is then 0. You're not allowed to borrow credit from any lenders. You've obviously been flagged that you are in debt review.
Yeah.
So again, that is a process that you need to go through to make sure that you've removed or settled all those accounts. And that your credit score has been built. So you can, because your credit history or your credit records are not, your credit report is not stagnant, it's not cast in stone. So it doesn't mean that if you made bad credit decisions in the past, that score is going to stay stagnant for the rest of your life. There are smart behaviors that you can use to improve on that credit score. Through that partnership with Splendy, we've actually co-created a credit score survival guide, as well as a credit score online course, as well as other resources for young adults and how to go about making those credit decisions the right way. So we have created quite a few credit resources to help consumers improve on their credit scores.
How long does it take, in a practical sense, to build this credit reputation, but also to find yourself in a point where you are accessing your credit and you're moving about your finances in a positive manner? Would you say it takes 3, 6 months, 2 years, forever for some?
And again, I think it depends on the consumer and how involved they are in terms of driving that their behavior, the smart credit behaviors in order to be able to do that. So it could take 2 months, it could take 3 months. Again, are you applying those smart credit behaviors consistently, and are you building that credit score over time? But what I would say to lenders is go and register on a credit platform, get their credit reports, look and see what information is being reflected on there. Most of the credit bureaus have disputing support available to them. So if there's something that's not showing correctly up on your credit report, you can go and dispute it with the relevant credit bureau. We also suggest getting your credit reports from at least 3 of the top credit bureaus so that you can compare the accuracy of the information being stored, and then identifying what those negative records are showing on your credit report, and then putting measures in place to try and improve on those credit on your credit score.
Mm-hmm. So, Jean, tell us about this project you're working on. What is it, and where can people get access to it? Maybe you can help them practically.
So Splendy has just launched an app a couple of months ago. So they can go to Google or the Apple Store, and then they can download the app, which is Splendy. Or alternatively, they can also go onto the website, which is www.splendy.co.za, and register. They've got quite a secure authentication process because obviously this is your very important information.
Okay, great. And where people can they find you, because you're also a great resource, Jean?
jeanarchery.com or moneymessages.co.za. I'm on all social media platforms. Listeners are able to connect with me on all platforms.
Thanks, Jean. Happy New Year. I know it's late.
Thank you so much.
You know what? We haven't spoken
Better
this
late
year.
than never.
It's allowed. Thank you for joining us. That's Jean Archery, who is a certified financial planner. Hey, what do you think about that credit reputation? Does it intimidate you? Maybe you've got a bad one. You say, hey, Ben, it's not looking good for me. Let us know your situation on our WhatsApp number. You should know it by now. You should have saved it on your phone, +2783 288 6684. Hey, we're moving on right now, wrapping up our morning news. Next is our latest sports.